I believe we are live now.
How exciting.
Except I'm not showing, but that's okay. There we go.
All right. Today is the 7th. That was a fun start.
Yeah, it was. We had a room full of people all of a sudden. I don't know where they came from.
I don't exactly know what caused that. I was messing around as I was showing you with that feature where I could record system audio into system audio. But I don't think that was it because it was only set to listen to QuickTime. So I'm not really sure where that came from.
Well, we got it back. That's great.
Well, I like to know why things happen. It was
Well, let's
right
do a
when
test.
I dragged in the "Everything Is Fiddly" jingle was when I heard it.
Okay.
So, playing the Do Not Disturb for an hour. All right, it is 5:03, and I haven't even taken roll call yet.
Yeah.
All right, we have Alan, and Kevin needs a new MacBook Air. CJ from Ann Arbor's back. All right, Dave Ginsburg rolled in here, and Jason and Frank and Jill. Lindsay, the daughter, who's a rock star. Everybody's loving her work on Chit Chat Across the Pond. We got John and Mike and Rick and Sandy and Michael. Wow. Who's in
Full
the
house.
sidebar tonight?
I saw Frank there earlier. Is he still there?
NASA
Yeah, I think
down there.
Frank.
John's
I think
there.
Frank is there, and NASA Nuts
Is
in
Frank
this.
there?
Yeah.
Stephen Getz. Is Stephen Getz here? Roll call. There we go.
Multiple roll calls.
Hey, Jason, you can't steal Alan's roll call. That's Alan's. You have all these other GIFs are yours. That one's Alan's. All right. Well, that was... Oh, my gosh, they're in sequence. Look at them. The two roll call GIFs, they're dancing together. That's pretty funny. All right. Well, let me just hit playback and just see whether that works. All right. Could you guys hear that in the chat room? Yes. Good. All right.
Now,
I should probably start recording.
And you're listening to me on both, or just
On Discord.
Memo?
I should switch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Talk to me, Steve.
Talking, one,
I
two,
do not
three.
hear you in Discord, in Memo Live.
Really? Do you hear me in the chat room, folks?
So, no, I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear
Which
me
is
in
handy.
Memo.
I can see you're
Hold on.
talking,
Okay.
but I can't hear you.
Test,
So,
test, test.
I guess I'll talk to you when I get over to Discord.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can do. I do.
So
not
leave
have time
Discord
to
on,
keep
and I'll
filling
just be
the
sure to
audio here.
leave
All right,
Discord
here
on,
we
Al.
go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, March 7th, 2021, and this is show number 826. All right, let's do a chapter mark here. And there we go.
So turn on Discord, and then I'll just be sure to mute. Otherwise, you won't hear me if I've got something to tell you.
Okay. All right. He's telling me to listen to Discord, and he promises he won't make any noise. How well do you think that's going to work out for old Steve?
I'm sure it'll work just fine.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to screw that up, right?
I'll remember it.
Uh-huh.
0%. Come on, Lindsay. You gotta have a little bit of faith.
Exactly. Well, hang on just a second. Talk to me again.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Wait a minute. Now I'm hearing you in Discord. Huh. I mean, in
No.
Live. Talk again.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I am. Okay, I've got you turned down. So yeah, go blather away to the chat room. Ignore me. I don't care.
So
I gotta
let
just
me
do
get this
some
straight.
writing.
You do hear me in Memo now.
Yes, I do. So I'm going to push mute and make you go away. Now I do not hear you. All right. In this week's Chit Chat Across the Pond, Bart Busschots joins us, but not for what you might think. This is an episode of what he calls programming adjacent. It's not about programming, it's actually about cooking and not wasting food. But Bart, being a programmer, approaches the problem like a programmer. I guarantee you that no one else on this planet approaches cooking and food inventory in the same way as Bart. It was great fun to learn how he does it and to contrast it to how in my house, two engineers have come up with a slightly different system. And it was great fun. We had a really good time. You can find Chit Chat Across the Pond in your podcatcher of choice, or of course, there's a link in the show notes to this episode of Chit Chat Across the Pond Light. Alan left. He left us. All right. And now for another chapter mark. Hindenburg. Copy link. Copy. And Let's Talk Apple is in there. And here we go. Okay, muting Steve. Well, because we didn't have enough fun together this week, I got to be a guest on Let's Talk Apple, hosted by none other than Bart Busschots, with fellow guest Chuck Joyner from Mac Voices. I promise we behaved ourselves. I might have gotten one dig in right there at the very end. Anyway, the intro material on Let's Talk Apple was the best illustration of why Bart's format of a monthly news podcast has real value. He described the bouncing ball of rumors surrounding Apple's supposed Apple car, which, if you were listening on a daily or a weekly show, it'd make your head spin. But with the monthly show, you could really kind of understand and see the pattern and see how silly it really is. Anyway, the entire show was great fun, like I said, and I hope you'll give it a listen. There is, of course, a link in the show notes, but better yet, look for Let's Talk Apple in your podcatcher of choice and subscribe. All right. I think I wrote monthly, not monthly. Let's see. Edit that. Monthly.
Monthly. Yeah. Monthly Python.
There you go. All right. Now it is time. I'm going to do this silly one after I talk because that way. Oh, wait. No. This one. That one.
You're going to do a little.
Chapter mark.
There you go.
Okay. There you go. Why didn't that work? What did I do wrong? Okay. Copy link. Copy. There we go. Save. Medium in Virginia. All right. Now I can go to this one and this one. There we go. Okay, muting Steve. I've done a lot of reviews of screenshotting apps, and I recently explained the hidden treasure that is the built-in screen capture utility. To be perfectly honest, 95% of the time, that's what I use on my Mac. I take a lot of casual screenshots. I open them up in preview, mark them up real quick, and send them off to explain things to people. I figured out a little trick. Hang on. This is a tiny tip. Where's the
Forgot the music.
That just was all kinds of wrong. You see the catcher of choice and subscribe. Oh, nope, sorry guys. Didn't mean to do that to you. Well, I've done a lot of reviews of screenshotting apps, and I recently explained the hidden treasure that is the built-in screen capture utility. To be perfectly honest, 95% of the time, that's what I use on my Mac. I take a lot of casual screenshots, I open them up in preview, mark them up real quick, and then I send them off to explain things to people. I figured out a little trick with annotating in preview that makes things so much easier. In order to motivate you to learn the trick, let's review the hard way first. In the preview toolbar, you'll see zoom in, zoom out, share, a grayed out pencil, rotate the image, and finally, a tool that's a circle with a little pen inside. This icon, if you click it, will show the markup toolbar. With the markup toolbar showing, there's a lot more fun to be had. I'm going to jump right to the main part of the tip, but then we'll circle back and play around with some of the other tools and describe the problems that they solve. Let's talk about the actual tiny tip here. Let's say you want to draw a rectangle around something to draw your recipient's attention. One of the tools is entitled Shapes, and the icon is a rectangle on top of a circle. Tapping on this reveals options for a regular line, an arrowed line, square rounded rectangles, ovals, thought bubble stars, polygons, a mask, and a loop. But in our example, we just want to draw a box about something. The process then would be select the Shapes icon to get the dropdown, move down to the rectangle icon and select it to drop the box into what will be a seemingly random location on your screenshot, never where you want it to be. Then you have to drag the box so the top left corner is actually where you want it, and then drag the bottom right-hand corner to resize it to outline your desired target. That's 2 menu picks, then 2 additional drags to get the box in the right spot, and that inefficiency drives me bananas. Now, here's the exciting trick. The third icon in the toolbar is the Sketch button. Select it, and using your trackpad or mouse, draw a close approximation of a rectangle right where you want it. It will look awful, of course, but when you let go, it will automatically turn into a perfect rectangle. It's delightful how well this actually works. Now, of course, you may need to adjust it just a little smidge by dragging one corner, but usually the first corner was right where you wanted it. I find this to be much more efficient. Right after Preview changes your childish attempt into a true rectangle, a drop-down menu comes out of the Sketch icon. This menu includes 2 options, one of which is to change the perfect rectangle back into the sloppy one. This technique of drawing with your trackpad or mouse works with all of the normal shape tools. If you get close to a circle, it'll draw a real circle. You can use it to draw a triangle too, but I could never get it to draw an isosceles triangle, where each side is the exact same length, but, if you don't mind any old triangle, it'll still work. Surprisingly, you could draw perfect lines with arrowheads. It takes some short practice to get the hang of the arrowheads, but once you get it working, you're going to want to draw arrows on everything. If you draw a straight-ish line with or without an arrowhead, you'll get a straight line. But if you draw your line even slightly curved, you'll get a curved line with a control handle in the middle, allowing you to modify that curvature. I tend to forget that it has this feature, and I'm always delighted when it happens accidentally. Even if you meant a straight line and it creates a curved line, you can always straighten it out with that control handle. All right, since we're here and that tiny tip is out of the way, which was awesome, right? How cool was that? Anyway, let's learn a little bit more about some of the tricky things you can do with Preview. Let's say you have an image, but it's on the wrong background color, or you don't want the background at all. In Preview, it's very easy to select the entire background and simply remove it. The tool concept is called Instant Alpha, and it's the second icon from the left in the markup toolbar. Once you've selected Instant Alpha, just drag across the color area you'd like to remove to select it. Note that as you drag, moving up and down changes the tolerance. So if it's selecting more than you want, slowly slide up to select less and slide down to select more. If you have a solid background that's in high contrast with the area you want to keep, you don't need to use these finer adjustments. But if there's, say, a gradient to the background of the image, or the color is a little too close to the image you want to keep, you might have to fiddle with it a bit. As always, your mileage may vary with how well this works. Now, I purposely neglected to tell you that you could also draw perfect 5-pointed stars by hand. I skipped over the stars because I wanted to tell you more about what you can do with them in Preview. When you draw a star, it will have 8 blue resizing dots. Imagine a box enclosing your star. You'll have resizing dots on the 4 corners and 1 on each side of the box. These 8 blue dots only do one thing. They resize the star while keeping the proportion of the star. If you want to distort the star, hold the Shift key down while dragging one of these dots. That's not terribly exciting, but these stars come with 2 green dots. These are the fun ones. The inner green dot can change the star points from being long, skinny lines to having kind of a fatter inner middle to the star. It's kind of clumsy to explain, but when you drag the green dot, I'm sure you'll understand what I was trying to explain. The outer green dot is even more fun. It travels on a circular path. As you drag it clockwise on the circle, it increases the number of star points, and when you drag it counterclockwise, the number of star points decreases. I don't think you can draw polygons by hand, at least I can't, and in any case, it's actually easier to just drop one in with the Shapes menu. By default, you'll get a hexagon, But like the star, you'll get an inner green dot, which will change the number of sides to the polygon as you rotate around the circle. I bet you've always wanted to know how to draw a perfect dodecagon in Preview, right? I mean, who hasn't? Well, I mentioned that the shapes back menu? What am I trying to say? I mentioned the shapes back menu. What do I mean by? I don't think the word back it was supposed to be in there. How about this? I mentioned that the shapes menu. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Well, I mentioned how to draw a perfect dodecagon in Preview, right? I mean, who oh, I thought so. Look at that. That's where I want to cut it. All right. I mean, who why do I keep cutting that wrong? Okay, escape. There we go. Right? I mean, who hasn't? All right, here we go. Back to work. I mentioned that the Shapes menu includes two features. Oh, that is what I want to say. All right. I mentioned that the Shapes menu includes two features called Mask and Loop. The purpose of the mask is to select a rectangular region to which you'd like to draw your viewer's attention. This mask accomplishes that by darkening the rest of the image outside of the rectangle that you draw. Well, it's pretty obvious how it works when you drop one in and you drag it to the size and location you desire on your image. But there is one tricky bit. If you deselect the mask by selecting a different tool, it's not entirely obvious how to edit that mask to change its size and location, or even delete it, because when you click on the highlighted region, the mask does not get selected. Instead, you have to click anywhere outside of the mask region in order to select the mask. This makes it very difficult to work with an image after you place the mask, because you can't select other geometry placed on the same image. If the other geometry is outside of the mask area, when you try to select that geometry, it will instead select the mask. I'd suggest adding the mask as the last thing you do on an image if you need one. Now, I've never found a problem that the loop solved, but it is a slick little feature. The loop is a circular area that is zoomed in. It has a blue dot for resizing that circle and a green dot that, when rotated around the circle, increases or decreases the magnification inside the circle. Like I said, it looks pretty nifty, but I have not yet had a need to point to something that fits inside the circle. I'm sure it's probably a lack of imagination on my part. Now, I don't do a lot of work with PDFs other than opening the occasional user manual or saving my own documents as PDFs, so I've never found the need for the high-end PDF applications like PDF Pen from Smile. I'm sure it's terrific, but you know what? Not being a lawyer, I just don't have the problems that it solves. I do occasionally need to sign documents, though. With Preview, you can store your signature right in the application, ready to be dropped into the appropriate field on the document. In the toolbar of Preview, select the signature icon and choose Create Signature. Now, the default option is to create your signature using your trackpad so it looks like a 3-year-old signed the document. If you're seeking a, slightly more professional look, sign your name with a real pen on a physical piece of paper. Now choose the second option in Create Signature that says Camera. Simply hold your handwritten signature up to the camera, being careful to align it on the blue horizontal line so that it's straight. Preview will recognize it as a signature and save it to your list of signatures. Now, whenever you have a PDF that requires your signature, you can simply open it in Preview, drop in your signature, and move and resize your signature like any other object to fit on the dotted line. Part of me feels a little bit queasy about storing my signature in Preview because it does mean anyone with access to my computer and login could sign things on my behalf. Then again, anyone with a hard copy of my signature could probably steal it and do the same thing, so maybe it's not that much worse than a physical signature. There's a feature I always forget about in Preview, and that's Adjust Color. This tool is represented by 3 lines with little circles on them representing adjustment sliders. I've been mostly talking about screenshots in this article because that's my most common use case. But let's say you've got a photo in Finder and you don't like the exposure or color on the photo. I actually used it for this very thing just this week. Adjust Color gives you a surprising amount of control over the image. It's got a levels adjustment at the top where you can move the black and white level sliders and the midtones. If you'd like some help, there's an auto levels adjustment. If that's not enough control, you have sliders for exposure, contrast, highlight, shadow, saturation, and temperature. There's even a tint slider that also has an eyedropper that allows you to do an auto white balance. You even get a slider to change your image into a sepia tone if you want to. And after you've messed up your image entirely and you realize you don't remember where the defaults were for the sliders, there's a very useful Reset All button. Not that I ever had to use that. There's a tool in the toolbar that I actually never noticed before. It's called Image Dimensions. In this window, you can scale and/or resample your image with full control. You can scale by size using pixels, points, or percentage, and you can customize your own size or choose from some standard pixel options. Speaking of size, I skipped over the first icon in the toolbar, which is the selection tools. Of the options in this tool, I only ever use the rectangular selection tool because I'm really usually interested in cropping an image. With this tool, I do a click drag to get my area, realize I missed my desired size or location, and then I use the blue dots on the corners to adjust it. A quick Command K and the image is cropped. I like that the rectangular marquee tool tells you the pixel dimensions when it's selected, so I can get a precise dimension, and the Shift key lets me get a perfect square. There's also an option for an oval circular selection area and a lasso tool to select if you're really an anarchist, I guess. The one tool I couldn't figure out on my own is the Smart Lasso tool. I have to confess that I had to go find an Apple support article to explain it to me. It seemed like its job was likely to be able to select an object by its edges without having to precisely select those edges yourself. I was right in my assumption, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. After reading the article, I found out that when you click and drag with the Smart Lasso, where you drag, there will be a fat red line. In order for Smart Lasso to select the object correctly, the fat red line needs to be right on the edges of the object you're trying to select. That's how you're telling it where those edges are. But you don't have to be precise because it's this fat red line. Like all of these tools of this sort, including Instant Alpha, like I said, your success will vary widely depending on how much contrast the object you're trying to select has versus its background. Now, all the rest of the tools are pretty self-explanatory. You can drop in text, you can change the font, you can change the line thicknesses of inside types. What? Change line thicknesses inside types. What the heck's that mean? Hang on. Change line thicknesses and line types. That's what it is. All right. Types. Now, did you like my name for that this paragraph, Sandy? When I got to and all the rest, I called it the Professor and Marianne. I made myself laugh anyway.
That's pretty good.
All the rest of the tools are pretty self-explanatory. You can drop in text, you can change the font, you can change line thicknesses and line types, and you can change the color of the border and fill of the geometries you insert. I also like that you can change these attributes before dropping in geometry and text, or you can change the attributes of existing content. I enjoy teaching about the built-in tools in macOS because of how much I learned that they can actually do. I usually get complacent using a tool for only the things I already understand it can do, but when I have to teach it, I start poking every button to figure out what it does. I hope you learned a little bit in this tiny tip that turned into a full tutorial. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, that's the biggest tiny tip I've heard.
Yeah. Well, the tiny tip stops and then it just keeps going. I need to send that to blog because I did a couple of... Oh,
yeah.
Damn it. Preview... Well, let's see. I got to do it again because preview. At one point, I had fixed this. I know I did. Preview and don't ignore case because one time I did it lowercase. There it is. And I fixed it the first time I saw it. Not the second. It showed back up. All right.
Tell me when you refresh.
Oh, it's not going to change much. You
I just
don't
want
need
to
it
check.
again, do you?
What's that?
Oh, you want to make sure it stays as
Yeah.
a published post? That would be
Yeah.
good. All right. What's up next? Oh, this is a funny one. Do you feel refreshed? Nice. Did I see Rose sneak in?
Yes, she's here.
Hi, Rose. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it looks
I
good.
think- Good. I think next is... This is the saddest... This is the saddest thing. I think I'm going to post it anyway, by the way, next week. I'm going to call it... I'm just going to call it, don't read this, it's a rerun.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so you're... What do you mean you think you're going to post it? I thought you have posted it.
No, I mean the post I'm talking about in this post.
Oh, gotcha.
Post about the post. Almost missed a chapter mark. All right, where was it? Is this one?
It's kind of a meta post.
Chapter marks. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Moving Steve. This week, I've been hard at work on an advanced tutorial for Screencast Online on the tool Screenium. I decided to do the advanced version right on the heels of the basics tutorial because I was already on a roll with the app. I had the mind map about 80% done, I had all my tools open, and the screens at the right resolution. The hardest thing about screencasting for me is starting. There's like so much static friction with that. So if I waited the 5 weeks till it was due, I'd have all that friction waiting for me. But if I did it right now, it would be easy sailing. I was right. I had a blast working on this video. But that meant I didn't write anything for the podcast until Friday. I keep a list of things I think might be interesting to write about, so I pulled out the one that inspired me most and I got to work. Sometimes writing is an arduous process where the words don't flow and the story doesn't congeal easily. But man, this time I was inspired. I was clever. I spun a good yarn to wrap the technology in, and I even came up with some great pictures ready to put into the blog post. I was closing in on the last two thoughts after having written, and I'm not exaggerating, I actually checked, 2,690 words on this topic when I realized something awful. I've written this blog post before, and I didn't write it years ago. I wrote it 2.5 months ago. My wonderful blog post was about Fitness Plus. I got to tell you, I looked at the two blog posts, and it's not word for word, but it's pretty darn close. A whole lot of the little anecdotes I tell are identical. So that's it then. There's only one conclusion I can come to. It's been fun, but I've written all of the blog posts.
Oh no, NosillaCast is over?
Yep, Lindsay's in charge now.
Don't say it. You got to hand off now.
Yep.
Linz,
Klaus,
did you know this?
did Lindsay?
Uh-oh.
Klaus sent me a note. He said, hearing Lindsay on Chit Chat and Forbes on Everything's Fiddly, he said it looks like the show's going to be in good hands.
Yeah. Exactly.
Isn't that the saddest thing?
Yep. All right.
I think I'm going to post it next week, though.
Well, the fact that it was so close, that does say, yeah, it's good. You were accurate the first time. Couldn't improve much.
But I mean, it might be a well-known fact in my family and amongst my friends that I do tend to repeat myself.
Well, at least you have a record of it.
Yep. Well, now I started to write that. I started to write that thing about preview. I was like, man, did I write this already? Because it sounded familiar. But luckily, it was not. It was. I did it on iOS markup. All right, where's Alistair's? Yeah, you know what? I almost used that GIF, Jason. I almost used that as my little icon. All right, where is Alistair's recording? What did I do with it? Oh, man. Oh, I bet I know where it is. I bet it's still in Dropbox. I bet that's where I left it. Dropbox, podcast, reviewers. Scroll to the bottom for Z. The only guy who gets to come in after Frank.
This was nice of Alistair to drop you a blog post when you were in need.
Oh yeah, it was very nice. Sandy, I could make you feel better. I want you guys to hear. Oh no, that's not where I wanted it. I wanted that in here. There we go. So listen to this audio at the beginning. It's the weirdest artifact he caused about your honking. Here you go. Listen to this.
Hello, Alison and NosillaCastaways. Alistair here from New Zealand once again with a review of a geeky tool that will let you fix your taming the terminal muscles. On an episode of the Upgrade podcast.
Did you notice how it's cutting in and out?
Yeah. What is that?
He applied some effects, and they were not good effects.
That's
so he took
in
them off and sent it to me without it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, luckily I had him live when I listened to it, and I was like, uh-oh.
You did a chapter mark for this, right?
I did.
Great.
Do you see it? You should be able to see it.
Let me blow it up.
What? Do you see any text? A little.
I didn't have it large enough to
thing?
see. I couldn't see it.
Okay.
I had to blow it up. Now I can see it.
All right. It has to be illegal to interrupt his gorgeous voice. Yeah. I've written all of the blog posts.
Hello, Alison and NosillaCastaways. Alistair here from New Zealand once again with a review of a geeky tool that will let you flex your taming the terminal muscles.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is super nerdy. Super nerdy, but it's pretty.
Do you want to just give us the Reader's Digest version?
Yeah, it allows you to. It's a tool that lets you put anything you want into the menu bar of Mac OS. And what he wanted to put in there was the battery levels of his different of his keyboard and mouse and trackpad, and the current temperature and humidity from his weather station.
Aha.
I'm convinced you could have done what he did with Keyboard Maestro, by the way. All right, let me just put a little outro here.
Memory disk, but even then you can easily change that.
Well, thanks, Alistair. This couldn't have come at a better time since, of course, I've written all the blog posts, so I'm completely out of material, so it sure came at the right time. That's a cool tip. I don't think I could have been able to do what you did, but I sure like the idea of having the information straight from our own weather station in our menu bar. That's really cool. It came out really, really nice. He put a screenshot in the show notes, of course, that shows exactly what it looks like, and it's really, really pretty. That's definitely very cool. All right. So now, since I'm just starting with this, we're going to do Everything is Fiddly, and I'm going to do Sandy first. Hey, is Forbes around, Lindsay? Is he awake? Yeah, he's awake. It's 5:30. If he's around, he could come hear himself. Okay. And I think I'll just go right. Oh no, I want to introduce this to remind people at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't listen, Sandy.
Everything is fiddly.
Well, this is the new weekly segment where you get to tell a story of something fiddly that is driving you nuts. The only rule we have is it's electronic in nature, so everything from your coffee machine to your menu bar apps are fair game in this. Let's start with our first. I don't think I need to. I'm just going to drop Sandy right in. Does he have a huge grin? Does he want to hear it again? Let's play it again for him.
Yeah, let's play it again.
Everything is fiddly.
Yay. So one of the things, I don't remember if I told it last week, but the first time he recorded it, he said it very nice, kind of just sad. Everything is fiddly. It was really sad, and it sounded great. But I asked whether he could try to do it where he was more frustrated sounding, and when she asked him to do it again, she said he looked just like a teenager and rolled his eyes at her. He's only 4.
They start early.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this one is Sandy. It only gets worse. Menu bar apps are fair game in this. Actually, I want to record that again. I fumbled that, and it's so short I should be able to pull it off. Okay, we get to hear it again.
Everything is fiddly.
Well, this is our new weekly segment where you get to tell a story of something fiddly that's driving you nuts. The only rule I have is it's electronic in nature, so everything from your coffee machine to your menu bar apps are fair game. All right. Apps are fair game.
Hi, Allison. This is Sandy Foster, and you asked us what fiddly things are bugging the rest of us. The one thing that bugs me the worst has to do with an automation that I set up. Here's the scenario. I have an iron in my sewing/quilting room. It's a necessity, and I keep it set up all the time. I also have a Wemo smart outlet, and the iron is plugged into that. My idea was to be able to tell Siri to turn on my iron, and that would trigger the Wemo to turn on. Then it would turn off automatically when I left the geofenced area. It worked, mostly, just fine for a time. The only glitch was that telling my HomePod to turn on the iron resulted in hard rock music playing instead. Okay, maybe I can live with that since my iPhone and Apple Watch behave just as I'd hoped, and I could skip giving the command to the HomePod. Lately, however, I say, "Hey, S-Lady, turn on iron," and all three devices do something really weird. No matter which one I use, HomePod, Apple Watch, or iPhone, Siri says, "I tried, but the media in your turn on iron scene is not available." The really strange part of this, though, is that the Wemo does turn on. Everything is fiddly.
That's great. I love it.
Fantastic.
And I
Oh,
like how she ends with the catch line. In fact, maybe that should be a requirement. Any input has to include that line somewhere.
What?
Everything
You
is
have to
fiddly.
say everything
You have
is
to
fiddly.
say it for it to be official, like Sandy did.
I want to try something. I have never used a filter live. There's a fair amount of noise online. I want to see if I can hear it.
Hi, Allison. This is Sandy Foster, and you asked us
it's
what
working.
fiddly things are bugging the rest of us. The one thing that bugs me the worst has to do with an automation that I set up. Here's the scenario. I have an iron in my sewing/quilting room. It's a necessity.
Hang on, Steve.
Can you turn that off and on to hear the with and without filter
Well,
difference?
I want to make Hindi full screen, and I don't know how to do it.
Oh, I'll do
pushing
that.
it, and it's not doing it. Because this is really cool. I think it's doing it real time.
Yeah. So, but can
and I
you
keep
turn it off
set
and
up
on?
all the time. I also have a Wemo smart outlet, and the iron is plugged into that. My idea was to be able to tell.
That's
Can you-
working really
Can
well.
you turn that? Can you turn that reduction knob down to so while it's playing, up and
I
down?
turned it on and off for you. That's what you asked
But it's
for.
locking it in at a certain level. I think it's locking in the noise reduction at the level of
Yeah,
the
but
four
I
green
like
dots.
the level that it's at. I don't want to change it. You just
Okay.
wanted to hear that it was doing something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's working really well. I just
Yeah,
paid
it's pretty good.
for the Hindenburg Pro, and I think Jill, is that something I got because of Hindenburg Pro? Because it sounds great. That worked really
Hi,
well.
Allison. This is Sandy Foster, and you.
That is like super clean. No, I
Yeah, it
won't
worked
make you
well.
listen to yourself again. That worked really well. I think it does it to the whole track. I think so, but I was making myself a hot cookie, so I missed it. Oh, here, I'll show it on screen, Jill. This noise reduction thing, I just dropped this on, and it just instantly got rid of the noise on her line, and it, like, no distortion of her voice. That is really cool. Sandy hearing herself over and over again. All right. Can you make me a hot cookie? Okay. You guys are so easily distracted. All right. Let's see. I don't think Bruce introduces himself, so I'm going to do it.
Does turn on. Everything is fiddly.
Oh my gosh, Sandy, this is so funny. I love it. I understand how the HomePod just decides to play things. My thing lately is it just randomly picks a song when I've just told it to play something from a podcast, but that's even better. I love that it says that media in your turn on iron scene is not available. That's fantastic. All right, well, our next contribution is from Bruce, also known as Noble Songster. His is not as long, but it's
Is it an Everything is Fiddly segment?
yeah.
So do you replay the
No.
jingle?
No. Is Noble Songster.
Hi, Allison. I'd like to present my addition to What's Fiddly. In iOS, when you share an ETA with someone because you're on your way, it's supposed to text them, whether it's on Android or iOS. It is fiddly, to say the least, unreliable, definitely, and frustrating most of the time. Thanks.
That's a good one, too. It's just true, right?
Yeah.
And he had noise on his.
And you had
So I think-
noise enabled or noise reduction?
Well, it's already on that track. You can see it on the, if you make it, I thought pressing.
The video
make it
switcher
quick.
is not behaving well,
Yeah.
so I'm having to do a workaround.
Okay. All right. So it's not me. Anyway, you can see the noise in the recording.
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
Most of the time. Thanks.
Oh, Bruce, I feel your pain. That is the worst. You see how cathartic this is? It was fun for Sandy. It was fun for Bruce. It was fun for the rest of us. Do send in your Everything is Fiddly stories to Allison@podfeed.com. All right. And now... Oh, that's just about right. Good. I thought the show might be too long, but now... Oh, chapter mark. Security.
Got it.
This is the one I always forget, you guys. This is the one. All right.
So no pledge break.
Nah, I didn't feel like it.
All right, that's fine. I'm good
Maybe
without
I'll
it.
just do security bits instead. I mean, do Everything is Fiddly instead.
Sounds good.
All right. Now, chit chat. Oh, where's the audio? Oh, security bits. That's what I want. Yeah, right. I was telling Bart how easy it is to do a double ender. You guys watch this double ender every week. Can you make it full screen? So
Sure.
Basically, I just dragged in my recording of both of us and his recording of both of us. I hit one, and I go to Tools, Split Stereo, and I take this one, and actually it's Command T. Oh, Option T. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Command T.
We do want to hear the plink.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Command Option T. There it is. You need the plink before I delete it?
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so this is his version of both of us. I line those up, and then I get rid of me on his track, and I get rid of him on my track, and now I have a recording of both, and then we'll play the plink first.
Blink.
Is that good, Steve?
That's good.
Okay, actually, if Forbes is still around, we can do, I think this was Forbes Plinky Plink. We have one of those. If he's still around.
Blinky blink.
Blink.
Blended into each other.
Right after fourth.
Blinky blink.
Blink.
See, Forbes, you're famous. Does he know he's an international superstar now? Oh, I gotta do that, and I gotta go get the security bits music, and that goes down here, I guess. And these two go here, and then I drag those until they're right there, and I have a double ender. Let's see how this goes. I like that a little bit. Oh, Jill, did you hear my tip about selecting everything from the single point forward in Hindenburg? I just found out about a really cool way to do it. Podfeed.com. Well, it's that time of the week. Too soon.
A little too soon.
If you
Just a half
if you
second.
hold down Command and Option, I think it is. Hang on, I have a Post-it note. Yeah, if you hold down Option and Command and click on the track, it'll select everything after it. So watch this track to the right. I'm going to just click on the one to the left, Option Command, and it just selected everything to the right of it.
Huh.
Nice, Kevin. But Steve would have complained. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. How are you today, Bart?
I am good. It's finally getting to that stage in the year where there's the stretch in the days.
All right. Now go to the
Looking good.
end.
It's time. Stay patched so you stay secure.
All right. We're cooking with gas here. Since I didn't do that much of the content, didn't have to talk so much. All right. I'll go back up here. Save and chapter marks. Oh, get ready. Probably time to start counting your chapter marks. Don't tell me yet, Steve, but count them up. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. I had a lot of fun here. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions, and your everything is fiddly comments. And you can do that by emailing me at allison@podfeed.com. And you can follow me on Twitter @podfeed. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You want to become a patron like all the cool kids? Go to podfeed.com/Patreon. You want to do a one-time donation? That's podfeed.com/PayPal. Want to join in the conversation? Having a lot of fun over in Slack at podfeed.com/Slack. And we're having fun over in Facebook at podfeed.com/Facebook. Wherever you want to play, we're there. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live like Forbes did this week on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. All right, he needs his own account on Discord now, Lindsay. Do a chapter cart because you know she forgets to. Okay. Have you got her count, Steve? You're muted.
There. I have a count. Are you prepared?
Almost. I got to do this tricky thing I just learned. This also I learned. Oh, make Hindenburg full screen, please.
All right.
I'm going to select like this. And I've got a menu, tools. No, I have to do that. And I have to select both tracks. And then I can go tools, magic levels. And close.
So what did that?
To do it.
What are you
Did
trying
not
to
do?
do?
What I wanted it to do. Hang on. I did it wrong. It's supposed to duck the music. Maybe I didn't do it right. Escape. I'm new at this. Really, actually.
You didn't catch all the music.
I really care here. Yeah, but I can't. The problem is if you go more than the music, then it doesn't work right.
Oh.
So that and that. How do I select it and do that? There's the tricky bit. There it is. Tools, magic levels.
It's ducking your voice.
Yeah, that's odd. Pal, want to join in the conversation? Having a lot of fun over in Slack?
No, that's
not
not
what
right.
I wanted to do. It is not working like I expect. Yeah, you got to help me find the pattern to how this is done because I've done it successfully twice. Okay.
What is the
Oh, I wonder if it's the order you selected in matters.
It might be.
So let me select this one and then this one and then try it. If I select the thing that's supposed to duck first, it's good. No, it's doing the same thing. Urgh. These are non-destructive though. You can always undo it. Well, how did I do that? I'm going to do it by hand. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Like this. And I think that lets me do this. Nope, that's not it. Oh, it's not doing anything. How do I do this again? See, I think you can only do it where you've got to be partially on the music. Like that. Like you got to leave a gap at the end, and then it lets you do that. That's it. So I bet that's the way that works too. And then
Can
I
you
gotta
fix that
deal
front
with-
end of the music? Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, but I can't do anything. Want to join in the conversation? Haven't lost that. That's
You
not what I
can't-
want, but I. No, I
You
don't
can't
think
bring
I
that
can drag
first
that
point
thing
down?
now, can I? Maybe I can. Oh, there we go. This is what I want to not do every week. But now it's the way I like it. The Castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
It's a little bit
A little early.
late.
A little early.
Well, the song,
Listening
normally you
and
end,
stay subscribed. Yeah, I did that before, Jill, and then I lost it when I did my nuke and pave, and I don't know where it went. All right, what's our chapter count, Steve?
I have 6. Count 'em, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6.
We
have
are in
security
agreement.
bits, most importantly. And we have an
Yes.
hour and 33-minute show. Time to export. I talked to the, maybe I told you guys this last week, but I talked to the Hindenburg guys, and I was describing my setup and trying to get some help. And the guy said, you know, I'd really like to see your setup sometime because it sounds like maybe it's overcomplicated.
You
All I
think?
could think of was, oh, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I need to update my. In fact, I was going to make a note to do that. I need to update my live show setup so that I could show it to him and say, yeah, this is all I do during the live show. All right, I think I'm going to let class out early, even with that fiasco at the beginning. I hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that unexplainable.
Yeah,
Very
it was
weird.
right when I dropped in Everything is Fiddly.
Okay. But did you say you were trying another path in loopback?
Well, I was doing some funny stuff, but I don't think that was it.
You know, with a name like Loopback and the sounds we were getting, that sure sounds like it might have been the culprit.
You think? No. All right. Well, I think I'm going to give everybody say goodbye. Goodbye, Rose. Bye, Forbes, if you're still listening. Bye, Lindsay. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night,
You
Gracie.
want to say goodbye to Forbes, Steve?
Good night, Forbes. Be a good boy, as you normally are.